Welcome back to the Off-Campus Podcast. This is, episode 11, I think. We're with Penelope Marzullo, Sophia's sister. Sophia was on last time. She's actually there watching it, but we're going to ignore her. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
What'd you do?
I went to school, and then I did errands, I cleaned, and then I came here. Been very productive.
It's, what is it, Wednesday? Yeah.
Sure is.
It's starting to get warm now in New England.
Yeah, my
Sorta.
favorite type of weather.
Yeah, today was a little cold, though.
Yeah, but if you looked at next week, that's like 70s, so.
Oh, yes. I think actually, isn't later this week supposed to be warm, too?
I think tomorrow it's supposed to be like 72. It's supposed to be very humid, so it's probably going to be hotter.
That's good. I can't wait.
And I'm glad Easter's going to be nice, too.
Oh, right. Easter
like
is
sunny.
Sunday. This is Wednesday, Easter Sunday, so it's coming up. This is going to be releasing Monday. So happy Easter to everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. All right, we're going to go right into it. So we've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
Because of Church of Crossroads.
Yep.
How long have you gone there?
10 years. I started when I moved here to New Hampshire, and I don't even know. But I came here in 5th grade, met Desiree and Michelle, and then I met you when I started going to youth group, and like Ryan and all that whole group.
Yeah.
Wow. Long time.
Yeah. So you grew up in church. Did you go to church before Crossroads?
Occasionally, like Easter, and when we felt like it, but it wasn't as serious until we started going to Crossroads because we just fell in love with the church and the community.
Yeah. It's a great place. How seriously do you take it? Your relationship with God?
Oh, very seriously. Like, when I was younger, I felt like I didn't, and I was just, like, on and off, and, like, and, like, put other things before him, but now I'm, like, very committed. Like, it's, like, God up here and then everything else down here.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I was kind of, I don't know, I've always, because I grew up in church, too, and I kind of didn't take it too seriously, but recently, the last, 6 months I have, and I feel better, which is good.
I feel like when you grow up in church too, it's just becomes a routine. And like some people, like my mom had experience where she it saved her and all this other stuff, so she doesn't want to lose that. When I've always had it, so I've never lost it. But I feel like, especially when we used to go to camp, which is the best thing ever, because you get that fire. Now I constantly want that. That's my end goals. I want to have a fire for God.
That is true. I talked about it with James. Dude, camp was so fun.
No,
it was the best weeks of my life.
I literally would have no voice, super injured, but it was totally worth it.
I know, it was awesome. I actually found videos on this computer because I was cleaning it out of camp in 2017. I think that was my second year.
Was that when we were blue?
I don't remember.
Because we were green, yellow, blue. I think we were lumberjacks at one point in time, and then we've just been black.
I thought we were green one time.
Yeah, green was your guys' 6th grade, but I didn't go until you guys were yellow. That's when Marco was there. I was there when Ross
my first year was green?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, camp was a whole bunch of churches. How many churches? There was gotta be 20-ish.
Yeah, at least 15, but depending on, our church was so big, we'd be separate, but because there's, different churches together, there'd be some from, Rhode Island or some, New York and stuff like that, but they're smaller. But I remember because we had the most people, so we'd be one group and one color.
So there was
there's only
4 or 5 4 colors.
Yeah.
And there was groups of colors, so each church would have their own. Or if they were smaller, they would be in a couple other churches.
Right. Yeah.
Would be in a group, and then games you just go by color. Which is how it was. Yeah, but camp was a lot of fun. It was a little weird. Wait, did you go? You went to Maine.
Yes,
Right?
I hated that one.
Yeah, me too.
I understand, at least we had camp, but it was brutal. The 1 hour to swim.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It was super hot, and we couldn't do anything. There was nothing to do. And, they wouldn't let you walk around or anything, so I was just okay, we're all going to sit under a tree and, do whatever.
No service, nothing.
I I wasn't mad about that because I
I
never
didn't really care if there's something else to do, but there was nothing to do.
Yeah,
I just wanted to swim, but they wouldn't let us.
I feel like they didn't plan that many games either. Like other camps, like we would have like the tube tug and all these X Factor games and like all these different things. Like there's constant like things to do and get involved in. And then they're like, oh yeah, we might have tie-dye or we might do this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay. And the food wasn't great either.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good at all. Yeah. Camp was like so fun though. I've even enjoyed the main one.
Yeah, it was nice just to have like our church together.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I barely knew the Orange campus before like Maine. Like now I'm like close with a lot of them, like especially like Chris and Aiden and all their whole friend group and stuff, which are super cool. But like, I think it was nice. I don't know.
Yeah, they're all really nice. It's a treat when you get to see them because you never see them.
I know because they live so far away.
Yeah. Actually, I saw one of them a couple months ago because I had to go pick up a bike literally in Athol, and I was like, I'm driving by his work, I'm stopping by, seeing fish. So I saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll stay on topic here. So, since you've been in church for so long, you're very different than most people. You don't really conform to society as much.
Yeah.
And I was wondering kind of how you do that.
Like, how do I not conform? Like,
yeah.
Okay, I understand. Like, how I'm not blending in, like being
Yeah,
like
you
typical.
you definitely don't blend in, especially in high school. Like, I feel like everyone just tries to become the crowd.
Yeah.
And be like the crowd, and you kind of didn't.
I think for me, like especially like my parents, like they're very like guiding towards that. Like I didn't even have a phone until like I was 17. And like that taught me like don't be like I'm never on my phone unless I'm like texting someone or having conversation or doing research on something. But other than that, I'm not on my phone. And I don't know, I've never been like I don't like what people do, like the partying and all that. Like I don't see the point of it. Like it's not going to benefit you long run. So why do it? So like I do other things I get involved in. Like I think that's why I always hang out with my family and I have like a deep relationship, and that's more important than doing something Friday night or whatever like that. But
yeah, because I used to be like that. I don't know. I would just want to be like everyone else because then I don't know. You don't get looked down on. But
yeah, I like a thing like it took me a while because I like was very shy when I was younger. So like it would take a while for me to like talk to people and stuff like that. So like I wanted to blend in and like just hang out with the crowd and stuff like that. But then like now looking at where I am now, like I wouldn't have changed a thing. Like I'm so glad that like all the steps that I've been through and everything like that, like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I kind of felt like that. I don't know. I had like a very big shift because I got sick in November through like December. I was sick for 2 straight months. I lost 10 pounds, but that's not really what the whole point is. The whole point is that like that kind of shifted my mindset, and now I don't really care about that stuff at all. And I feel like I have higher standards for my friends now because I started going to group and stuff.
Yeah.
On Thursdays, Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Crossroads, if anyone wants to go. 18 to 30.
I love our group. I feel like...
Yeah, me too.
Oh, now I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's going to have to come back.
Since I started going to group, I really like my standards for my friends have kind of gone way up because I kind of learned what real friends are and like what good friends are.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like,
I have good friends, but
when PT, like, he talks about a lot, like checking your circles and like who's pouring into you, who's sharpening you, who are you pouring into, and it's just like I'm so more mindful of that. Like, I used to be like, oh, like let's be friends with everybody kind of thing, but now I'm like, okay, like I can be friends. You could still be friends with everybody, but like draw a line so it's not impacting you or your. Because you are who you hang out with. And I've noticed in me, like, if I hang out with the wrong crowd or something like that. But now that, like, I'm very aware of who's sharpening me, like, you know, people in our life group are sharpening each other. And I have people, like, my mom pours into me and, like, some, like, PT and people like that. And people I pour into, guiding them. And it's just, like, a whole balancing. And it's, like, really cool to, like, watch unfold and everything.
That is very true with me as well. You do always become, like, who you're... The five people that you most hang around.
Yeah.
Definitely who you become. And you can kind of change them a little bit, but you're going to mostly conform to them.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, it's like you pick up bits and pieces and then you become like this whole different like kind of person thing. And I always hate that because like I like who I am. I don't want to change that. So I'm like mindful, like, okay, if I notice like a bad habit my friend has or something, I'm like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or like guide them or just like, okay, put a boundary like, between me and them. Not in like a harmful, like, oh, you do that, I'm not doing that. But like more of a respectful manner of like how I want myself to be as a person around others too.
Yeah, the accountability is huge too, because I mean, people in high school, you kind of just do stuff. Like a lot of people just drink and smoke, and I guess more in college. But no
Yeah.
one says that it's bad. Like no one tells them that it's bad. But even like jokingly with Matt, and every time like he swears, he'll do 10 push-ups, and every time someone else swears around him, he's like, okay, 10 push-ups. Like your
Yeah.
friends need to do that.
That's why I think it's so good to be like truthful and honest and open and transparent, like how we are in group. Like we talk about like serious things that are going on. And obviously that stays within our group and we respect that. But then it gives you that accountability, like, oh, like if I know that like I've been very prideful or selfish, I'll let someone know and be like, hey, like I need you to like help me, like get me out of that. Like if I was like made like an action or did something that I know that I have that accountability, not that, oh, I'm just going to do it and that no one knows kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. You can't really, if you just keep it hidden, you're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, because then people don't know what's going on. So then you're like, oh, it's not that bad because there's no consequences either.
Yeah, that is why group is so good. And that's why I like interviewing people from group, is because we actually, I don't know, a lot of people our age, they don't really think too deeply on things, but
yeah, I feel
every
like
week
group,
we're forced to.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't even think it's forced to. I think it just like we all are thinking the same thing. We just no one says it.
Yeah.
We all are trying to put like this smoke screen, and I hate that people do that. Like putting out this image, like, oh, I have this perfect life, and I'm doing this and this and this. When really, like, you're having a crappy day. People have bad days, and like there's things we should celebrate and things we can like grow together as people. But like that's why community is also so important. Like if you're not rooting in community, then you can like fall down terrible paths. And like I've seen it happen to other people, and it's just like, ugh, scary to watch.
Yeah, I talked about communities in the last podcast I did by myself. They're really important, and everything in culture is like trying to tear it apart.
Yeah, because our culture is so focused on me, what's best for me, and all that.
Oh,
but like, but it's like, why wouldn't you help someone that it's in need? Because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you. You're going to feel great. And that person also feels helped.
All right. I have that written down. You can't you're going too quickly here. All right. We're going to move into leadership. So you're repping Starbucks.
Yep.
You work at Starbucks.
I sure do. Yeah.
What do you do there?
I'm a supervisor there. So I've worked at Starbucks for 2 years. I started I think end of junior year or beginning of my junior year. And then within a year, I was promoted to be a supervisor. So I was still in high school and being a supervisor, which was like really cool. But basically, there's certain days I run, like where I'm like the boss or whatever. So I run Monday and Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings, which is our busiest days. But it's a lot that I do.
Yeah, everyone needs a coffee Monday morning.
Oh yeah.
I don't drink caffeine, but I definitely need something. So obviously you're leader type.
Yeah.
What do you think are some qualities that leaders have to have?
Oh, I think there's so many, but that's like the purpose of like there's a leadership team. So it's like my district manager, my manager, we have an ASM, but they're like somewhere else right now covering for someone. And then it's just, I think there's 5 of us, like shift managers covering different days and stuff like that. But like for like a leadership, you have to be, you have to respect people and you have to have that understanding, like looking the big picture. Like, okay, like this is like when I come in on like, especially Saturday mornings, it's really important. I like look at the full 8-hour shift and I can exactly plan out, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is going to happen. I can see how people are going to, how busy it's going to be, how customers are going to be, and like where I need to be at all times. And it's also important to like communicate. That's also a big thing. Like I always communicate, oh, this is what's happening, or this is what I expect. And like setting goals for the day, because being goal oriented is so important. Like I'm very goal oriented. Like I have daily goals, weekly goals, and all that. And so like I'll set, okay, here's the goal. Like, so on Saturdays, we have a thing called peak times. So basically, like how fast you can get through how long you sit at the window at the drive-through. And so I'm trying to get down to 49 seconds. The last 2 weeks were really rough. Last week, I think, was 100 seconds. And the week before that was 54 seconds. But like, that's all part of the team. It's how everybody's working together. So I set that goal and tell them like, okay, this is where you need to be. And I'm trying to like teach them that like, okay, if you see someone slacking, you need to pick up that slack so we're all at the same level and striving for that goal rather than like individually focus like, oh, I want to be here and this is what's best for me rather than like, oh, I know I could be better here and this place is better for this person.
Okay. Yeah, the whole team is important. And I feel like people kind of forget about that.
Yeah.
Especially with, what's a good example? I feel like artists like in music.
Yeah, it's more like individually focused kind of thing. It's
yeah,
because
all the even bands like people only know like the lead singer. No one knows the bass guitar in the back or
yeah.
But or even like CEOs of companies, they can't really do their job without the people under them.
Yeah.
So it's super, super important to have a good team around you as well. Which leads me to my next question. Actually, first, what responsibilities do you specifically have there?
Well, I'm in charge of the team, so whether it's a Monday my closes or my mornings, I'm in charge of them and their actions. And then I'm also in charge of customer connections because this like Starbucks standards is like this is your third place, so you really focus on like if someone's drink wrong, even though it was their actions and they did it wrong, we would always remake it for them no matter what. And I have to count money, so I'm in charge of that and running. And then I had to pull food for like the next day, and I have to do the order, which is what we get every day. And then but it's simple things, but it's just like I'm more responsible for like the team and their actions, and whatever happens that day, it falls under me, not them individually. So
yeah, I remember at Home Depot, whatever manager was on, it's like it didn't seem like they were doing anything, but they were always busy at the same time because they're not doing anything specific. They're doing like 100 things at once.
Yeah, because I'm not like so that we have like certain like planted positions, like you can be on hot bar or front warming or whatever, but I'm never on those positions. But I'm constantly like running around doing different things.
Exactly.
And the people are always like, "Oh, why don't you help?" I was like, "Girl, like I have a list. I have to get things done."
Yeah, you're doing more than everyone else there.
Yeah.
Do you do like any sort of team building?
Not really. Like that's more my manager focused on, but like things I do personally is like I like always check in with people, like especially like if it's a busier day, like I'll personally like, hey, how are you doing? Like, and like I do check-ins with people, like when they come in to see like where they are, like if they're having a bad day or they're like a certain place they want to be or can't be, I always like check in with them, and it's just nice to know that they're not just a worker, like there's a person like I care about and have, like it's not just go here, do your job,
It must be really nice for them too to hear that from their supervisor, because you kind of look up to like, I don't know. I guess I didn't really like look to my managers as role models, but I look up to them.
Yeah.
And so hearing like, I don't know, that they care about you, that must be nice.
Yeah.
That is very nice. And you said you're really good with like you're a really goal setter. You're a goal setter. How do you go about making those goals? You kind of already talked about it, but
well, I guess it depends on what my manager's asking for too. So like Monday nights are really important because we get this weekly order and it takes like 3 hours to unpack. So like I tell them, okay, like I have to organize it back, and I set a goal, or I'll say, okay, we're going to get the clothes done by 7, which we usually do. Or I'll set goals of like standards of like how I want things to be, cleanliness, or like training. Like I try to get people like well-rounded as baristas and not just they're only good at X, Y, and Z, or they can't really do anything. Like I want them to have that focus on like that they can do all positions, and like well-rounded.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. We talked about leadership some. Anything else you want to talk about there?
I feel like another thing that's like cool to watch with leadership is just like how like being in this leadership role, I've had more of experience of like looking at like the bigger picture with like all things. So like choices I make now, how that gonna look like from like an eagle's eye kind of point. And it's kind of like interesting to learn, like as I keep like developing in my role, how like those qualities affect like different areas of my life. Like it grew me like in church and like how I am with like the tech team and how I get involved with other people. Because now I know like I learned how to guide and teach people and mentor people in like a gentle, loving way, but also be like, okay, like, hey, you know, like very direct and firm also with them.
Yeah. I think the whole idea of like the big picture or a good example of that is making the drinks for people even when they mess it up.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're losing like what? I don't know. Starbucks drinks are expensive. How much are they?
Well, like the popular drink is the strawberry fresher. That's like $7 just for like this.
So
size
like
of
Starbucks is like throwing away $7, but in the big picture, you get a good rep if you just hand out the drinks. You know,
Yeah.
more people are gonna come to you, and
Yeah.
in the end, it all works out. So, I was thinking about cancel culture this week, and I wanted to talk about it because I don't know, everyone's getting canceled. Everyone.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, do you think there's any situation where someone should get canceled?
I feel like cancel culture, like I don't understand it. Like there should be consequences, yes, for people's actions, obviously, and like they represent like people and companies and stuff like that. So that's important. But I don't think like you should cancel them out. You should have like, you know, because then if you think that then you're teaching people, oh, if you do the wrong thing, then you're done. Like that's it. And it teaches like our generation is being grown up like, oh, if you make a mistake, then you know that's it. I'm not gonna be friends with you or whatever.
You have to live with your mistake.
Yeah, and it's just like forgive and forget. Like you made a mistake, but it's in the past. Learn and grow from that.
Okay, so you think people can like actually change? Because I know a lot of people.
I think
that
people
people
can change,
don't
but
change.
it's hard for people to change. Like I feel like people can only really change with God. Like I've seen it in like a lot of people for like new believers and how much like especially in that group like all the new believers we have, which is amazing. But like you see how much they grow just weekly with all the conversations have, and that's how they're changing. Only God can change a person. You can't change someone, and that's also their own choices. Because if they don't care, then they're not going to change. They're going to do whatever they want.
Yeah, there's degrees to it too. So like you can, I don't know, you can change simple stuff, but there's a lot of like people who have bad lifestyles and they can't. Like I don't know, smoking cigarettes. People smoke cigarettes for 30 years. It's like, how are you ever gonna like break that habit?
Yeah.
But some people do. I think people can change. I think people can change.
Yeah, I think people can change, but they have to have the right mindset and like always like go to someone. Like if I wanted to change a habit, like waking up earlier, it's a thing I've been trying to do. So I'll let like someone in my house like, hey, like if I'm not awake by this time, someone needs to get me up. Like I need to have something then rather than my phone and alarm, because after a while then you're just like, oh, it's just my phone. Like I'm just gonna sleep. I'm gonna turn it off. But like having that accountability helps too with like changing and stuff, and like in the long term, like how do you like if you really want to change, they'd be like smoking cigarettes. Like they want to obviously not develop lung cancer or any like serious health issues. That should be a goal to quit. You know.
Yeah.
Not just because I want to.
Yeah, you kind of do need a motivation with the bigger stuff. At least you need like a reason to. So if you want to get up earlier, think like, I want to do this before I start my day.
Yeah,
I don't know, like read 15 pages or something. Then you'll have a reason to get up earlier.
Yeah.
On that note, though, the best the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So if you know that you can't trust someone and they say they changed, well, if you know you can't trust them from the past, then you shouldn't necessarily trust them.
I feel like that's true in some aspects, but like I'm the type of person that like if someone made mistakes or did like something wrong and like really hurt me, like obviously I'm hurt. Like it's gonna take a little bit, but like I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Like if they say they changed, and I believe them until they do it wrong. But I'm constantly going to forgive them because that's what God did. I mess up every day, do something stupid, and he still's like, yeah, I forgive you for that. Like, that's okay. But, like, it's one thing to forgive someone, but they're constantly doing it in, like, spite, or if they don't really care for it, then that's when I'm like, okay, like.
Well, what if they're, like, manipulating you? So they keep doing it.
Yes, that's different.
Yeah, but what if you don't know? So
I feel like.
They're saying they changed and you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't like disagree with you. I think you should definitely forgive people as much as possible.
Well, that's what
I think you should
boundaries are
always
for.
forgive people, but I don't think you should always forget. At least for I don't know. Like if people just keep doing the same thing, they keep saying that they changed and they know that you're going to be nice, people will take advantage of that.
Yeah, well, that's what boundaries are for. Like, for example, like my relationship with my dad, it's been like I constantly forgive him, but he keeps making the same mistakes or keep doing the same thing. But now I just have a boundary. I'm like, okay, if he doesn't reach it, I'm not going to let it get to the point where it's going to upset me and bring me down. I'm just like, okay, I already know that's what's going to happen. That whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
And just having a like boundary with people.
Yeah, I think that's a good solution because then at some point, if you keep forgiving them and letting them do it again, it's like it's negative for both of you, not just you. It's like you're harming them by like letting them manipulate you.
And like I think I've learned with just like more like relationship with people is like if you take a step back from people and like realize what you lost from that person, then you're like, okay, like I really need change. I want this back. Like, I've done that with a lot of friends. Like, if we got too close or things were happening in our life and we took a step back, we're like, holy crap, like, I really need you in my life. I need that guidance and stuff like that. And you both, like, change yourself, not for each other, but in a better way, like, to grow as a person. And then, like, you come back, like, me and Anna, we, like, had a really rough patch for a year. We were close. Like, we literally
Yeah, I know. You guys are very close.
We match Jose. We say the same thing. But, like, if we didn't have that break, it would be very toxic right now. But, like, we took a break and we realized, like, oh, my gosh, like, we need each other. But we also had to grow separately as people to come back to where we are now.
I think when you get in arguments with people, too, and then you, like, kind of, like, step away, like you said, you, like, take a break, you realize that the thing that you guys were arguing about probably didn't matter a whole lot anyway.
Yeah, things with arguments, it's like most of the time it's just because you have a different perception or different understanding. Like you're looking at it this way, but this person's looking at like this, or don't even understand what you're saying.
Yeah, very rarely arguments are like one person actually has bad intentions and the other has good.
Yeah, and I feel like it's always good to like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's like actually think and like have like, especially when you start involving your feelings, because feelings can be very like deceiving and like charge you more and so you don't even know what you're mad about anymore. You're just like feeling this anger and this rage and just like, well, okay, let me just take a step back. Do I really feel this upset about whatever, how a toilet roll should be? I don't know. Like,
yeah, feelings are very deceiving in like every aspect in life, but people are told, follow your feelings.
Yeah, follow your heart. But that's just so, you need to have, well, obviously, God needs to be in center. That should be the first person. But, like, think about it logically and also think about it emotionally and, like, how you feel about certain things. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm not getting anyone right now.
That's okay. The Bible literally says that your heart will deceive you.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind, guys. Let's see. We already talked about if people can actually change. Oh, you kind of you already kind of touched on this. You said, well, why should you like do what is right? So, I think we both know the answer pretty obviously, but in the modern society, if you think like how most people do in America, you wouldn't do the right thing. You would only do the right thing because it benefits you.
Yeah.
And why should you always do the right thing instead of doing it only when it benefits you?
Well, because that's what Jesus did. He always did the right thing. He always helped people when people told him, don't you talk to that person or don't be involved with that. Like, he would talk to anyone. He talked to tax collector. He talked to prostitutes and stuff like that. So why shouldn't we do the same? Why shouldn't we live by the same principle? I don't care if I'm getting a benefit or not. Like, if it's helping someone out, like when someone's stopped at the side of the road, I always roll down my window. I'm like, hey, like, you okay? Do you want me to call someone? Because I just feel bad. Like, I hate people and it's too, like, thinking about if you were in that situation, would you want people just looking at you? And it's just like,
I think that would make my day if someone
exactly.
opened the window, yeah.
Actually, funny story, your dad. So I got stopped. I ran out of gas. And I was stuck in the middle of like the intersection in Nashua, and your dad had to help me push my car, but like everyone else was just honking at me, flipping me off, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, like I don't know what to do. And then like finally your dad helped me like move my car because I was waiting for my dad to give me gas. But it's just like an example like that. It's just like how impactful that impacted me, and knowing that like, yeah, I just probably made someone's day slightly a bit better.
Mm-hmm. And it takes almost no effort to do that too.
Yeah, and I feel like if you train your mind to do it, you automatically do it. Like at work, I just automatically do things because it's my job, it's my responsibility, and it's not a big deal. But then my manager, he gave me like a weird like backhanded comment. He's like, "Oh, why don't you tell me you do these things? What do you mean? Why says I did this for you? No, I'm just doing it because I want to. It's my job and it's my responsibility."
It's also like so prideful to bring
like,
up, "Hey, I did this for you. By the way."
Oh, by the way,
so
I did all this. Yeah, that's just so like putting a spotlight on me when it's just like, why? You don't need to do that. I just never understood that.
Yeah, I was like with my friends the other night, a couple weeks ago, and me and one of my friends went to like McDonald's to get everyone food.
Right.
And we did, and then my friend paid, and everyone was gonna pay him back, but he like basically told them not to, or we kind of just ignored it, like we didn't say anything.
Oh.
So that's good. Like he's not being like, "Oh, by the way, guys, it's on me.
Yeah,
I'll pay for this."
Yeah, not making a big deal. It's just like a, just like a kind act to do. Like if someone like, usually if my friends get sick, I always like, "Oh, like, do you want me to go to the store and get you stuff?" Like, especially like you're for death, like super sick. Like I know if I get sick, my parents will go out and get me stuff for the store.
Me too.
And so like if I can help just a little bit, then I am. And it's just like small things, one to bring a smile to someone's face, but it's just like what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. And actually, I think when someone's sick and you ask them if they want anything, it's better to ask them if they want something specific. Because if you're like, "Yo, do you want ice cream?" then they want ice cream.
Yeah.
But if you be like, "You want anything?" they're just like, "Nah, it's fine." Anyways, what do you think is true happiness?
I hate the word happiness. Like I really do, because happiness is only like, there's nothing wrong with happiness. You can be happy, and that's only like in a moment of satisfaction or whatever you got. Like if you got paid today, then you're like, "Oh, so happy." But like it's very materialistic and worldly, because people look for happiness because it feels like, it's like, I don't know. In health class, they showed us this weird video about like a bird where like it'd like take like food or something and like how it'd be happy, and then after a while, it just like nothing would ever fulfill that like need you have in your heart of happiness, and like you're filling it with like, and then people go to like bad substances like drinking, whatever, but like that's why you're supposed to fill it with God, because when you fill it with God, you constantly have a joy, no matter like in like tough situations, hard times, whatever. You still like at the end, you're like, wow, like I'm just grateful to be here, like grateful to have the opportunity to still be alive, and I don't know.
Yeah, and you're like become so much more grateful for the small things.
Yeah.
When you're not constantly trying to fill your life with like meaning.
Yeah, your life, like some people's life are just like, I just have an ordinary life. Like I just go to school, work, go to church.
Me too. I do the same thing. I pretty much do this every week. Every week for me looks almost identical.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be climbing a mountain or something like crazy and extraordinary. And I think like social media has a play in that, because it makes you compare yourself and like, oh, look what this person looks like and look what they're doing, rather than like, you don't know how much that costs and how like that could be hurting them or anything like that, but you just are assuming. And that's like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, it's also, you need to like think long term, because even though my every week looks very similar right now, in a year from now, it's probably going to be different. Never mind like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be way different.
Yeah, I always think about it like you're supposed to be content where you are because God put you there, and whatever friends, situations, or anything. And that like, I think we talked about a group and church, like enjoy the ride. Like there's going to be downs, but just enjoy it and appreciate the ups. Because if you're constantly thinking about how to get out of the bad and how to stay in the up, then like you're never just gonna fully enjoy like the fullness of like life and what God has given you. Because even if you go through a bad situation, you learn from it, because that's preparing you for the next worst thing, but so it's not as bad. And you better know how to learn and like, oh, I know how to do this because I went through this already. And like then you get more opportunities, like I find it easier to relate to people and stuff like that because there's certain things I've been through, and just like but if I didn't and I, didn't appreciate it and like did whatever I can to get a void of it or stay happy, then I wouldn't have the opportunities I do now.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Also, you're never gonna like appreciate the highs unless you've seen the lows.
Yeah, that too.
Because, man, okay. Murph on the Unapologetically Me podcast, he was talking about privilege, and he invests in real estate. I don't know. Basically, he was like addicted to drugs, whatever, and now he's making money. So,
Right.
anyways, he like posts on TikTok, and people will always say, "Oh, you're so privileged," whatever. But if you think about it, the person who's commenting that video, sitting on their couch, on their phone, in their heated house,
Yeah.
in America, I think, who's really privileged? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if we're in America, we're privileged. So
I feel like we grow up in a culture, people just assume, like, based on, like, where they are now, oh, they must have had a great life. Like, people, like, I know people have assumed that about me, like, because I have a good house, I have a good family. But, like, people don't know what I've been through in the past, and, like I've moved every year, and I've been moving all a lot, and that, like, taught me how to, like, really rely on my family, but, like, I also put a boundary of, I don't know how to build friendships with people because within a year, I knew I was going to move, But, like, I broke through that, and now I'm very social, very outgoing person. But, people wouldn't know that unless they asked. People are just assuming by where I am currently, oh, life must be great. Like, good for you. My life sucks because I'm going through this right now.
that's another problem with social media.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if you only see the highlights of people's lives, you think their lives are always like that.
Yeah.
But realistically, everyone has highs and lows.
Yeah. And, like, I understand, like, you don't have to share your lows on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's obviously private. But, like when I post now, I just, like, post, like, oh, this is my highlight of the week and stuff like that. Like, I'll post, like, good things. But, like, it's not, like, to put in other people's faces, but just, like I use social media for, like, my distant family to see what's going on in my life and stuff like that. And I like sharing my life with people. But, like, it's not like, oh, look how much better I am. I have a great life and whatever.
Actually, on that, I feel like people do like posting their lows now.
Yeah. Because they do it for attention, though.
Yeah.
And, like, I've noticed that with people, like, they're like, oh, woe is me, and I'm going through all this. Please comfort me.
That was the most annoying part about high school is, dude, everyone is just posting, oh, I have a test today, or I just bombed this test. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, and they're always
I
like,
don't
life
care.
is rough. I'm like, look at the bright side. Like, you're just in
I
high
know.
school. Like,
Why so negative.
Yeah. I hate being negative. I love being optimistic. I always look at the bright side of things. Like, even though there's like a 90% chance it's going to go wrong, I'm like, you know what? That 1% is still there. It still could go good.
Yeah. I used to be a complainer when I was younger, and I can't even believe it. I hate complainers.
Yeah, I hate complainers, but like I was the worst culprit, especially
Yeah,
like
me too. Yeah.
at home. Like if my parents ask me to do something, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I just want to go in my room and do nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just like, really, like they do everything. Why can't I just do the dishes or small things like that? But now I'm more appreciative, and I think I'm more verbal with that. Like if someone does something for me, I'm like, you know what, like I really appreciate it, and I'll do something, like not in return, but just like show my appreciation for that. And it also means more like, wow, like they're not just asking me because they assume I'm going to do it,
Yep. Props to our parents for being patient with us too.
Oh yeah, seriously. I don't know how they did it.
I wouldn't have been that patient. Maybe in the future. But okay. I've been binging the Whatever Pod. Do you know what the Whatever podcast is?
I've heard of it, but I haven't really watched it.
Okay. Well, this sucks. She doesn't know who Andrew Tate is, first of all.
I'm not cultured. I don't listen. I don't look at that stuff. Just explain to me, what is the Whatever podcast?
Okay. Well, okay. It's this guy, Brian Atlas, great guy.
Okay.
I don't know him personally. He's famous. But he'll have like 6, 7 girls on a podcast.
Oh, wait, I remember you talking about this in your other...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And they talk about dating. And one thing that he was talking about, actually that he said, was that, well, obviously, I mean, you're not like a lib. So
A what?
a liberal.
Oh.
So you kind of know that there's differences between girls and guys
Oh, yeah.
and what they should bring into a relationship. And I think, well, what Brian said is one of the things that a girl should bring in, almost the most important thing, is peace to a relationship.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I feel like, yes, in certain aspects. I'm thinking more like how God says relationship. Like, obviously, like, men and women are very different. And we all think differently. Like, have you ever, like, for me, like, I didn't realize as much because you grew up in a culture like, we're both the same. And, this, you both can be the protector. You could both do this. And, so I never really noticed it. But, like, if you've ever asked your parents and your mom and dad the same question, but like not around each other, they give you completely different answers. Like I'll ask my mom to like when I was younger, like to go somewhere, like a dance or whatever, and she'd be like, "Oh, well, I don't know those people. Like you don't know who those people are. Like that could be dangerous." And my dad's like, "I'm not driving an hour away." Like it's just like those complete things, but because it's just how their brain is wired and everything like that. So it's so good to have like different things. But I feel like guys are supposed to are like brought down for it, like being controlling or whatever, but like you're supposed to be protecting, and because like eventually you're gonna have to protect your family, you're gonna have to lead, and that's your role. But like as women, we're called to be the helper, which is not in a bad way. That's a good thing. Like God is.
She had a whole series on it.
I know, and I actually I'm reading a book called You and Me, and it talks about like your relationship with God and how that looks, and it's just like and more so like relationship, it's like God, like it's a triangle. So you have God here and then the two couples here. And like when they're striving to God, they're also getting closer. And it's really cool to see how like just with God, like how close your relationship could be with that person and instantly too.
Yeah. Also, because of the series that we just had,
Yeah.
I can kind of see now, like in my parents, how different they are.
Yeah.
Like I knew it before, obviously, but now I like really, really see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay. We got about 20 minutes left. We'll move. Oh, my computer's gonna shut off. Okay, you said you're a goal setter.
Yeah.
You're a planner.
Oh, I am. Yes, that.
So actually, this will be interesting. Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, and then 10 years?
1 year, probably honestly the same. I'll probably be more developed in like hopefully career wise I started being really committed to my relationship with God since like August, and that's when I started going life group, being more involved, and God has really changed where I want to be. So I was going for health science, but now going for more admissions and more like leadership stuff. So like now I'm going to study starting next year organizational leadership, and just teaches you basically like human communication, how to lead, how to guide, and all that like basic information. I have no idea what he wants me to do with it, but I'm very open to it and just following his lead. So hopefully I kind of have a better idea, I guess, like job wise. But I think he's calling me to be more to like mentor, so I'm actually getting involved with a community in Nashville called PAL, and you basically like take kids who are in bad situations and you're just with them all day, helping them with homework, guiding them, just taking them parks, just to like be a light. And I think God could really use me for that and like guide kids, because I have a different like mindset than I don't know who works there or whatever, but like I don't know. I'm just really excited for that. 5 years, he said. 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Well, what year is that? The 2028.
2028. I'd be, I think, 20. I'd be 20 or 20, 24, 25. So hopefully I'm married in 5 years. I want to be married young. And
well, I have to ask that too. You can't go there yet.
I'm sorry. Well, hopefully
that's fine. You can.
I'm starting like my family life, I guess, and being more involved with that. But that's all in like God's timing and stuff like that. I think I'd be almost done. I'd be done with college. So with a career, maybe a house. I don't know. I try not to think about that stuff because like I have no idea where God's calling me. He could call me go move to California for all I know. I'm just like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. It sounds so fake, dude. Getting a house. I feel way too young for that. Way too young. Maybe it's around the corner. I don't know. 10 years.
10 years. Oh gosh. I have no idea. That is too far. I have no idea where life's gonna look. That's all in God's hands. I can look maybe a year, maybe 5, like have what I want, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. So much changes even in a year. You can't really know.
Yeah, with yourself, your community, and like culture. Like the world is constantly changing super fast.
Yeah.
Like a lot's happened in the last 3 years or something crazy.
All right, I doubt you're gonna. Do you know what Chat GTP is?
No.
Okay, never mind. All right, well, we'll move on to the question then. When do you want to get married, and how many kids do you want?
Well, I don't know. Like, I want to be married young. But I don't know what is considered young. But like, whenever God's timing is, I guess.
I feel like in society, under 27 is considered young.
Really?
I think so. I think in our circle, like in church, I guess in religion, in religion, like everyone who identifies with a religion mostly wants it younger.
Yeah.
Than 25, but I think for culture, everyone's like, oh, get married at 30.
Yeah, because everybody's like, let me put my career first. Let me do this first. But it's just like, I don't really care about that. I care about more starting my own family. Well, I guess I'd look at it. I want to have 3 kids, but I've always considered adopting. But whatever God wants, but definitely 3 kids. I want to have a big family. And I don't, after 30, I'm not having any more kids.
You consider 3 kids a big family?
Well, I'd start off with 3 kids, but if I adopt, if God gives me the ability and helping kids like that. But 30, I want to be done having a family and everything and kind of just enjoying that more. So I guess married maybe 25, 26. But it's whatever God's timing is. I'm open to it all. But I was going to say something now. I forgot.
25, you said early. Okay. I don't know. I feel like 25, 26 is a little.
Okay, well, I'm also in college and I'm trying to put. So right now I have God up here, then it's my family, and then school, and then my relationships, with friends and family, friends, and then my romantic relationship, and then it's work. Because I'm not I care about my job, but they're all at the same playing field, but I always put my family first.
Yeah, well, you should, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, very interesting. Do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about? You don't know Andrew Tate. You don't know Chat GTP, so.
Well, I think that's my bad because I feel like I need to get more involved with the world. What's going stop just looking about what's going on in my church or our generation kind of thing. Looking more what's happening in Europe or whatever like that. I guess we should be watching the news more involved and more aware what's going on.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think it's interesting to talk about. I just thought everyone knew who Andrew Tate was. But well, I guess not.
Not
At
me.
least everyone under 50. But it's okay. All right. We're done here. If you guys enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe. Yeah, I guess that's it. It's free. It takes half a second, and it helps me out a lot. So please do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it. Woo!
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for being on. It was a pleasure. It kind of flew by, honestly. So, all right. See y'all later. Bye.